The following presentation was recorded live by HAHaudio.com.
The topic that I was given to speak about today is what is Judaism, and I've been complaining about the topic ever since it was given to me. For the simple reason is that I don't have the slightest clue as what that's meant to speak about. I mean, if you talk about something which is more specific, then obviously it's quite easy to talk about. What's Judaism's attitude towards cruelty to animals? So then that's quite straightforward. Ask what are the laws of Shabbos? So even that's broad, but that the ability to speak about. But what is Judaism? I mean, I almost think that the people who made this up, that they meant this as a rhetorical question, because I presume that anybody who came here for this follow-up program must have some sort of an idea what Judaism, else you wouldn't have come. Or, maybe last time you didn't know what Judaism was, but if we got you to come back a second time, and I certainly know it wasn't for the food, so it must be that you people have some sort of a concept what is Judaism. So, therefore, I'm at a loss, and I'm not going to stop yet, don't worry, but I did threaten that this would be extremely short, but I can speak till it is that I have to leave to go and light the Hanukkah candles. Not that the candles are that important, but the children are waiting, and their presents and so on. So we don't want to have any sort of incidents in the West Bank this afternoon. So I really do have to get there. We live in the West Bank, and who knows what the children would do if they didn't get their presents. So let us begin, and I'll make an opening statement. I don't know how long it's going to be, because, as I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And at any time that you like to interject or disagree or give an alternative speech, then I'd be very happy to hear. And let me state the obvious. Rav Moshe Chaim Lutzato, better known as the Ramchal, in his introduction to the Mesilat Yesharim, one of his most famous books, if not his most famous book, he writes that I'm going to talk about things that everybody knows, but sometimes people forget them, so therefore there's value in me rewriting them and writing them in a way that people can read them, so that just to remind people, although I'm not going to say anything new. So in the same way, I feel that I'm not going to say anything new, anything that people haven't heard before, but perhaps I'll try to put it in its proper order and or put it in some sort of a sequence that it makes some sort of sense. What is Judaism? Judaism is the vehicle whereby God's will gets expressed on this earth. Hopefully. Sometimes one suspects that Judaism is whatever Jews do, and if Judaism is whatever Jews do, then we're in a lot of trouble, because there are a lot of Jews out there doing all sorts of things which may not be giving or bringing all that much honor to Judaism. And it's difficult sometimes to speak of Judaism as such. One of my teachers didn't like the word Judaism that much, and he preferred the word halacha. Halacha is what he felt was an objective system. An objective system, what a Jew should do. But let's start at the beginning. God created a universe. This universe is one which presents us with choices. Choices are most likely the most important aspect of the human character. If we didn't have choices, then life would have no significance at all. Judaism, therefore, passionately would believe in the ability of man to make choice. If we had no choices, then everything would simply be behavior-oriented. We would all be Pavlovian dogs, being brought from one experiment to the next, doing answers or doing things that could have been predicted at the outset. As I said, Judaism believes that man has the ability to make choice, and being that we have the ability of making choices, therefore life takes on its meaning. A problem is that very often we make the wrong choice, and when we make the wrong choice, the world suffers as a result. And there is this direct correlation, which we very, very often forget, between the state of affairs in the world and the behavior of man. This is nowhere as expressed as clearly as the second chapter of Shema, which many of us say every day. If you follow the commands, there will be rain in its proper season, and there will be food, and there will be sustenance, and people will be happy and live in their land. However, if you don't follow the rules of God, then there will be all sorts of terrible things, and there will be starvation, there won't be rain, and so on and so forth. Which means that the free choice that we have does create consequences and does create the world that we have in front of us. Often people ask, how could God create such a world? And the response is, God did not create this world. God created the Garden of Eden. And man, through their choices, have succeeded in turning this place into a hell on earth. The positive thing about Judaism is that we believe that through our choices we can recreate a Garden of Eden again. So therefore, in a sense, as we move towards the Messianic age, what we are trying to recreate is that which God had created all the way in the beginning. Of course, there's a very big difference between what God created and put us into, which was not a function of our choice, just a function of where we were placed. And if we recreate it, then it becomes much more significant, because then we'll be able to look around at the end of the day, at the end of history, and be able to say this is something which we created based upon our behavior, and that's something which is which will be the epic of will be the end of world history. But that's what we're more moving toward. And if I'll just say one more word about about the Messianic age, as strange as this may sound, and this will take me back to the beginning again, as strange as it may sound, as far as a religious Jew is concerned, their interest in bringing about the Messianic age is not out of selfish, parochial interests. Quite the opposite. Right now, if I do a commandment, I'm rewarded for that commandment because I'm commanded. God is somewhat distant. I do it because of my trust, faith, belief, knowledge of God. But I'm not forced to do it. I have the choice.